Rutgers at South Florida, Thursday night college football on ESPN. Let's see, who am I going to go to? Vegas Runner.
All right, I really like the under in this game. It opened 47, down to 46, now as low as 45.5. I'm hoping when the bettors get involved, they bet this one over.
So when you say the bettors, you mean the public?
Exactly, because they don't bet till game day. And when they do, I think they're going to take the over, and here's why. When you look at the first two games for both of these teams, offensively, it appears they're able to put up some points. But the strength of both defenses is worst case scenario for these offenses, meaning the offense that's good at passing the ball is going up against one of the best secondaries, and the other offense that's good at running the ball is going up against one of the best front seven.
Okay, so strength against strength, which in this case helps the defense, right? So that's why you like the under.
Exactly.
Interesting. So we don't get into the X's and O's matchups that much. So let's dig in just a little bit to this. So let's imagine it was flipped. Let's imagine that one defense was real good against the run, but the offense threw a lot. The other offense, well, all of a sudden now you're going to expect more points. Flip side is you expect less points. I like the X's and O's stuff. How often, you don't talk about that much, how often do you account for that in your handicap?
I need it to really stick out. I mean, for me, like you said, I'm not huge on matchups. I'm a market reader. I'm a situational guy. I like to see what other bettors I respect are on. But when it comes to matchups, as far as in the pit, it's got to stick out to me, where it's got to be obvious.
And this one jumps out that much.
Exactly. But then again, for it not to be factored into the number, because don't forget, this is a primetime game, and most things that are obvious, most factors that are obvious are already put into the number, and then what's the case? But I think here that's not what's going on.
You make a great point. If I said Tom Brady's a good quarterback, I'm betting the Patriots, people are going to laugh. That's built into the number. A lot of things that handicappers, public handicappers, guys that sell picks, let's be candid, that their analysis is all stuff that's baked in the number.
Yeah.
And that's what, or mostly baked in the number. That's why they can't beat minus 110. The question is, can you find one big thing or two small things not baked in the number? Now you might have 1.5 points and enough value to hit 55%. So you mentioned, well, the public's probably going to bet the over. Why do you care?
Because of the fact I want this number to go back up.
Okay, so that's what I think people miss. Someone says, oh, I'm going to bet, so 85%'s on Team A, I want to bet Team B. Really, if the line doesn't move...
I'm not getting 11 to 10, so exactly. I don't care what they're betting.
The public wins about 50% of the time. You can make the case less, but that's a complicated case. But close to 50% of the time they win, so it's not like you're going to win fading the public. You're only going to win if you fade the public if the public moves the line.
And that's what I'm hoping they do here.
So what's your target number? 46.5?
47. I'm hoping I could get back to that opener.
So you say wait till game time.
Yeah, because it should go back up. I'm almost certain that the betting public will bet this game over.
Let me give you a couple points I have on the side. South Florida, 2 late TDs against Nevada. How are they going to react to that, like, hey, we're on our way? Or are they going to react to that as in, oh my God, an emotional draining win, maybe come out a little flat? What would you say?
I think they're not going to be able to do that against Rutgers, because Rutgers, when the season's over, this secondary will be the best in the Big East. They'll be rated the best in the Big East. Last year, they were the number 9 passing defense in all of college football, and they were 8th scoring defense. And they returned 8 starters from that squad. So they're loaded on defense.
All right, next question. South Florida ended the season losing 8 of 9 ATS. They were down, like we said, like 13 points, and they were like pick 'em or +1. It was a very close line last week against Nevada. So if they don't score those 2 late touchdowns, they start the season 0-2. So 8 out of 9 and almost 0-2, though we got to give them credit for the comeback. I mean, is this just a fade team? Is South Florida just a team you want to fade?
Yeah, and you're seeing that the sharp money is grabbing the points with Rutgers, and that makes me like the under even more.
Why is that?
Because it looks to me like they expect a low-scoring game, a closer game for the dog to be able to cover, and that's exactly what I see. Because when you look at Rutgers, you got to remember they have a new head coach, And Schiano built this team to run. And you already saw that in his first week in the NFL. But the problem with Rutgers this year is their offensive line's in disarray, and you have a new head coach who was scrambling for assistants leading up to the start of the season because Schiano took 6 with him. So this Rutgers offense is not going to be as good as they may have looked in week 1 or 2 going up against Tulane and Howard.
Yeah, so, and we've talked about this a bunch early in the year. New coaches, new schemes usually start slow.
Exactly.
Last question. South Florida, 0-8 on Thursdays against the spread. Do you account for that at all?
No, I mean, I think for a while there, South Florida was getting a lot of hype and being on national television, primetime game.
Do you really go 0-8 because you're overvalued by 1 point?
No, I agree. I agree. I think you're
Thursday,
right.
That's the thing in baseball when they randomly say, well, on a certain day a team so-and-so. To me, most of that's random, but there's certain days that might be a getaway game or a day like Friday, which you often are returning from a road trip. I do think certain teams react certain ways in certain situations. I think Thursday might be one of those days.
It's a primetime game, you're right, and that does make perfect sense to me that maybe when the lights are on, this team's unable to perform.
Any major point we haven't touched on?
Just the fact when you look at South Florida, what you see is a passing team. They're not a team that has good running backs. They're an average offensive line, but they returned 4 wide receivers from last year, and they got a great quarterback. So you're going to expect them to be able to light it up passing. But I touched on it at the start. You're not going to throw the ball against this Rutgers secondary and this Rutgers defense. So they're going to be forced to have to run the ball and have some success running. Because of that, I really believe this game is going to be low scoring.
Okay, we've talked it out. Let's go to the official pick.
Rutgers at South Florida. I like the under in this game. I'd wait until closer to game time to get the best number. I think the public's going to bet it over, but we have 2 very good defensive teams. Rutgers held 8 opponents last year to 20 points or less. I think both teams are going to have trouble scoring. I like the under 45.5, 46.
So when we had 4 people, and that's the thing, some days we're going to have 2, some days 3, some days 4. You were complaining you don't get to talk enough
airtime.
What do you think?
It's good.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it.
Just one guy setting you up.
Yeah, this just feeding me layups.
All right, guys, listen. This is the first of many videos this week. We're going to have like a dozen videos, including boxing, NFL, the whole thing. You can get them all at pregame.tv.